obviously you never want to go into a season without Mike Thomas or play any amount of games without Mike Thomas, but in these last couple of years, what do you think you've learned about some of those young guys that have kind of stepped up behind him?
Yeah, I think that again, when the roster's been put together and you go through training camp and situations like this happen, and so you just have all the confidence in the world in the other guys, and that's why they're here, and that's just part of any position. That's part of their job, and that's why you have confidence that when you put those guys in the game, that the next man's going to step up and go.
What have you seen kind of Cody help develop those guys this year? What kind of role is he taking on with that?
Yeah, I think he's from the day he walked in the building, came in for the interview process and clearly impressed us, and just not only he's a great coach, he's a great person, and he just got great makeup. You love everything about him, and obviously he's done a great job with those guys, and you can see it, when you guys are watching practice as he gets through his individual, and he also brings ideas for the whole offense as well. So we're real excited to have him as part of our staff.
Pete, just the thoughts of getting somebody like Jarvis, Landry back in the lineup and what he could bring for this offense that's kind of hitting the groove right now.
Yeah, I think that when he's part of this offense, we're excited about what he brings to the table, his value as not only what he does on the field, but also his value in that room with those players, and then his point of view on a lot of things. So obviously he's someone that we're excited to have as part of this offense.
This is kind of a broad question, and I know you were basically in the same role before in 2012, but have you learned anything just about yourself as a play caller, a designer of offense, just kind of being in the lead chair on offense?
Well, I think that the responsibility, mainly the big thing that has changed is calling the plays as compared to the last few years. But again, been a part of this system for so long, the routine and all that, and just kind of paying attention to Sean as he was doing it and learning from him as well. So again, there's things that you come out of every game, and there's feedback from the other coaches as well, and from Dennis too. Is just the things that maybe we could do better, and so it's never just you're always growing. But I think I think that the big change obviously is calling the plays, but as far as putting the game plan together and all that, it's just something that this group of guys, coaches that have been around forever and feel comfortable with.
There were no turnovers in the last game. Do you still focus on the basics this week? Are you able to advance it a bit more in practice?
I think that's still always the primary focus going into every game. Is that's when you're putting together, kind of maybe what you think are the keys for winning this game every week. It always starts with ball security. So that's always the first thing. It's not something you can ever take for granted or let up on. It's always got to be harped on.
Have y'all kind of turned a corner on that, though? It's 2 out of the last 3 with no turnovers.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's something that has to just continually be preached, and unfortunately, when we have turned it over, it's cost us. And so I think that we got to continue to learn from those. And again, you go into every game, and again, you preach that message: no turnovers. You got to finish with the ball. Each play, we have to finish with the ball.
The last 2 weeks, no sacks allowed. The offensive line seems to be in a great rhythm. Does that make life easier as a play caller? You kind of feel more confident when you know the offensive line is in that kind of.
Well, I think it does. It's a lot easier to call plays when you're in more manageable situations than when now it's 3rd and 20 and you're asking guys, what do you think? So I think it gives you a early down efficiency, which makes 3rd down a little bit more manageable for you. And so obviously, going into the games, we talk about ball security, but we also talk about avoiding negative plays as well.
Coach, on that note, Cesar Ruiz spoke yesterday about his improvement. What growth have you seen from him from last year to this year?
He's playing consistently at a high level. He's real confident. I think he's really gotten into a groove a little bit, like you're saying, but I think he's playing well. And sometimes I come out of games and you watch the game, and then afterwards you think, I didn't even notice it. Offensive line sometimes for me where I'm watching some other things, but that's usually because you're not seeing them make mistakes. But I think Doug and Zach have done a great job, and he's obviously worked hard, and I think continues to grow with his confidence.
What's Andy's role, just like in the reduced sacks? Is he part of that too?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that can go into it. Not only the O line, but the running backs, tight ends that are involved in protection, the quarterback getting the ball out, and also I think sometimes you can try to avoid those where maybe with the play calling as well is just are you holding the ball? Are you taking a shot downfield? What kind of protection are you in? And just Andy's done a great job being able to, when there is maybe an issue, either get us in the right change or get the ball out.
Pete, I don't know what the numbers were last week, but I know going into them, Juwan Johnson was, I think, 14 of 14 targets and catches, hadn't dropped the ball. Are you looking to, especially with Mike T being out for the time being, get the ball in his hands as much as possible?
Well, I think anytime we have all the confidence in the world of throwing him the ball and getting the ball in his hands. I think that as we put together the game plan every week, it's you're coming up with the concept, what they do well, and then we want to get the ball in a lot of guys' hands, but he's one of the guys that is included in that group.
I think y'all were 2 for 2 touchdowns and choice routes to Alvin last week, stopping you guys from calling that play 40 times.
Well, I guess you can't call it 40, but he obviously he did a great job with his releases, getting out. Andy put the ball on him. I think that again, that's always something that's Alvin's done well, and it's just like you're saying, it's a matter of those opportunities coming up with the play calls.
How do you balance how many touches he can get, especially now that Mark's out?
Well, I think that it's part of the NFL that you're going to have next guys up. I think that Joel's done a great job rotating those guys and getting those guys ready. So there's always a plan as you're putting the plan together. Like, hey, there's going to be certain plays where you might put a different tag on the personnel grouping to get other guys in, and you got to find that balance so you're not playing. He's not playing all 65 plays.
I'm sure if it was up to Alvin, he would, though.
Yeah, well, I think most guys probably would want to, but it's a long season. You got to be smart.
Ryan Ramczyk looked to have a really strong game against Las Vegas' best pass rusher. What kind of an impact does that have when you have a guy that one-on-one can take away a team's best pass rusher?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of value, obviously, that goes into that because there's situations where maybe you want to help the O-line somewhere, and when you feel like you can, if you can put him on an island for most of the game and feel confident that he's going to get the job done, it helps with everybody else throughout the offensive line where you can maybe, be hitting a guy on the other side on your way out. But again, he's playing at a high level, yes.
Coach, can you talk about what the addition of Brett Hundley to the practice squad brings to the table?
Oh, I think he's a guy that we've seen on film, we've talked about before in the past, a guy that we're excited to have in, and really just for these few days to get a chance to watch him and work with him. He's been great in the meeting rooms. So I think that we're excited to see how that proceeds.